What's up, family? Hold on. Let me take this avatar off. Salute. How y'all doing, man? Um, Veronica, if you're watching, I'm about to send you the link. Just let me get the chat together. Welcome, y'all. How's everybody doing today? Welcome to another one, y'all. I got a good one for y'all. Hopefully, everybody that's in the chat can gain something from this interview. Like Brother Murph was saying in his story that he posted, I'm trying to elevate my brand, as you see, and I want you guys to really listen to this powerful message that this wonderful lady has. And hold on, let me get her on the phone right now, and give me 1 second, y'all. 1 second. Hey, Veronica, are you watching? Let me know. Text me and let me know, are you watching? Because I can just drop the link in the chat, and you can just hit the link in the chat. Let me know if you're watching. Hold on, let me get it right here. Give me 1 second, y'all. Yeah, if you want, are you watching?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna drop the link in the chat. You can just hit the link in the chat.
In the YouTube chat?
Yeah, in the YouTube chat, I'm gonna drop it in the chat, and then the link that you see, the link is not for the link is for the guests. So please be in my keep in mind that don't hit the link, y'all. But
Okay.
yeah, I'm about to drop the link in the chat right now as we.
Okay, I'll get on.
All right, hold on. All right, hold on. All right, that's the link right there, Veronica. Please hit that like button if y'all just coming in. Thanks to all the new members. Appreciate that. All is welcome. Don't forget, we got the back to school drive. All proceeds and donations will be towards the Philadelphia, Kensington area, the kids in the school district of Philadelphia, especially Kensington area, because, we have a pandemic that's going on out there that some of the families aren't able to provide for their kids. So please keep in mind. I don't know if she's having problem coming up here, but hit the link. It should tell you how to get up here. Just bear with us, please, and thank y'all. Yeah, you got to hit the link, and then once you hit the link, it should tell you. Let me see if I can send it to her. Salute to everybody in the chat. Audie, Marissa, Honda, mommy, salute. Salute to all the day ones in here. Appreciate everyone for stopping by. Let me see. One second, y'all. Okay. All right. I'll send it to your phone. I'm gonna send it to your phone right now. Hold on. Let me send it to her phone. Give me 1 second, y'all. Bear with me. All right, hold on. Hold on. All right. You should be good now. I'm sorry, y'all. She's just having a hard time getting up here. You know, she's not used to this, so bear with me. Appreciate it and thank y'all. So I'm just waiting for her to hit the link. Got it? Appreciate Pamela. I think she's having a hard time getting up here. Okay, here she is. Got you. You here. Welcome. All right, here we go. Hi.
Hi.
We finally made it, right?
Technical difficulties. I feel like I went all the way to Chicago to meet you live after all that.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
YouTube give us a hard time sometimes, you know.
That's
But
okay.
I'm streaming off a StreamYard, so it's like, you know, you have to hit the link and
Yeah, I'm bad with technology, so
yeah,
props.
I'm learning just as much as you. I'm learning too. Yeah, man. But welcome, man. I appreciate it. Like I was telling you before we got on here. Yeah, everybody. I don't know if you can see the chat or are you able to see the chat while you're on here?
Just our chat, not the YouTube chat. No.
You can't see the chat. What chat do you see?
I don't. Some StreamYard one. Can you get on the YouTube chat?
All right. Can you see this?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
Can you see this?
Yeah. Oh
The
yeah.
The ladies are ready for you. Look. You see that one?
Yeah.
Look at this one. They're ready. They're ready for you. Yeah. But introduce yourself.
I don't know. Hi, my name is Veronica. I live in Philly, South Philly. If you guys, some of you may have seen my Instagram. That's Club Sandwich Philly. I don't know. I have three dogs. 2 pit bulls and a Yorkie, and the Yorkie's the worst one. She's really bad. My other dog, Kevin, he's a pit bull lab, and he's such a bad dog that he's actually in like behavior reform school right now. So I'm dealing with that. But he's gonna come back a changed man, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I know. I see. How is that for dogs? Like, do they go like you just like it's like they train them and bring them back home to you?
I really hope so. That's what they told me. But he's there for 8 weeks actually. So he better come back a perfect boy. But I haven't seen him or anything yet. We don't see him until the last 3 weeks. So I miss him. But
This is my brother. This is a good friend of mine. He's from Kensington as well. You see, it says Murph to Kenzo. He said
hey.
that I didn't mention him, so he was like I was a sexist.
Oh, that's okay. Hi, Murph. What's going on?
Hold on. All right, so we just gonna dive right into it, Veronica. The people want to know, she's an advocate for the homeless community. She also does her own thing with the Club Sandwich Philadelphia. She walks around and she feeds the homeless people, gives them brown paper bags with different designs on them. She used to volunteer or does still volunteer. I'm not sure
Yeah, I'm still there.
Prevention Point. How's the new building? Have you been to the new building?
The new respite or no, they I don't know if you saw, the respite across the street from Prevention Point, the temporary housing. They closed that and opened a new building near Episcopal.
Right.
But I haven't been over there yet. It's kind of far. So I mean, it's pretty problematic that they closed the respite. Like, as I'm sure anybody that's familiar with like vulnerable populations or people experiencing homelessness who are also experiencing active addiction or substance use disorder, like moving people far away from like safer use communities and access to familiar like drug substances, safer use supplies is always really dangerous. So that's sort of, I mean, it's good and it's bad. It's good in the sense that from what I understand, it's like a beautiful new building with like more room, some like better furniture, more comfortable living arrangements, but location is a really big factor when thinking about, vulnerable populations and moving people from their homes, from their neighborhoods. So that's been like a pretty negative side of it. And I haven't like seen as many familiar faces in Kensington just because of like the evictions and shuffling people back and forth. So I don't know. I mean, it's scary. It's always when I like don't see someone that I'm like used to working with for a long time. Like when I don't see a friend, I'm always like hopeful and sort of relieved, like hoping that they moved on to like something better and just didn't get a chance to say goodbye. But I'm like more so scared that they're in like a worse situation.
We're gonna dive into that because I was a victim of being evicted illegally while during the pandemic. So we're gonna get into that. But I have a few questions here. The first thing I want to let's start off with your experience, right? What are some of the personal experiences or compelling arguments that have influenced you and motivated you to get involved in being an advocate for change?
Big question. right off the bat. You don't mess around on this channel. I mean, personal experiences, I think like when people ask me that can mean like a couple different things. I think, Philadelphia is my home and it's my heart, and my personal connection with my community is like watching my neighbors struggle, watching like, people experiencing homelessness as my neighbors. That feels personal to me, even if I don't know every individual living in vulnerability personally. I'd like to, I hope to. And like, knowing like faces without names and knowing situations feels just as personal to me as thinking about like my own family's experiences with vulnerability, mental health, substance use disorder. My parents are both incarcerated right now. My mom suffers from untreated mental illness, paranoid schizophrenia, and she's incarcerated as a result of her untreated mental illness. She's a victim of just over policing in America, which, I'm sure there's a lot of folks listening that have the same story, which is really sad. And, you know, the work that I do in connecting with people on vulnerability, like I always think about my mom in ways that I couldn't help her, or maybe ways that I am helping her and just don't know. And if anybody listening, like, you know,
Right.
if your mom's out there, somebody you know, like I'm trying my best for all of our moms, and I hope you are too, because if you meet my mom, I would want her to know she feels loved.
Right. Okay. The next question I have is, what do you think about the liberation of women in social life?
Mm, I don't know. Can you ask me that a different way? That could mean a couple different things.
All right. Let me go. But what are some of the barriers women face in developing careers across their working lives?
Hmm. You know, I mean, women face barriers in all aspects of society. There's a lot of like movements for like women's empowerment and women's professional development and like growth as a woman. And personally, like I find those movements and those hashtags and those webinars really frustrating and in fact harmful. Because I think that like women, we have changed our whole lives to fit into this world and be respected by men and be respected
Right.
by strong white men. And I think if, you know, encouraging women to change or asking women to change was the solution to the problem of inequality and barriers as a woman, I don't think that we would have that problem anymore, because women, we've been changing our whole lives to fit into a man's world. So it's not us that needs to keep changing. Women are strong just for existing in a world that tells us that we don't deserve to have a voice, that we can't be pretty and smart, that we got to be thin but not too thin, we have to be blonde but not stupid, and you know, just existing as yourself every day and finding your voice where you can is a daily protest, and women are doing enough, more than enough, and I'm proud of all of us.
I'm super proud of you. I've been like meaning to reach out to you a while ago, but I needed to get myself together, and I think everybody that knows me down there know my capabilities and know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
capable of. I still remember the last day I seen you. I was like, "Yo, tell what's the name? I'm leaving to Chicago. Remember?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm trying to get my mail. So
Yeah.
you remember?
It was a wild ride.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember you guys. You guys were walking around passing out the
Mm-hmm.
bags, and I
Yeah.
seen you. I'm like, yo, when you see what's the name, make sure you. I'm trying to get my mail. I'm moving to Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
My wife, she's in the chat right now. She's watching. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, as you see, we have a newborn on the way. So yeah, he's due any minute. Like he's coming any day. But yeah, the next question I got for you, I want you to talk a little bit. So I asked you, can you talk a little bit about some of the specific ways that you have advocated for change and the successes and challenges you faced?
Hmm. Um, you know, in talking about like advocating for change, I think that like by design that sounds like really complicated and a lot like bigger and more impressive than it really is.
Mhm.
It's really accessible to like start to introduce change into our daily lives. And I think something that is like really important for me and I think should be like a stepping stone for all of us as we work to like change the world around us is like, you know, our language and our conversations and getting to know our neighbors beyond circumstance, beyond vulnerability. I think that a lot of people like want to change the world and want to change our society and want to change our systems to be more welcoming and more inclusive and eliminate like some of the barriers that we've already talked about. And I think that like to change the first key to impact is to understand, and I think that that comes from conversation and approachability and using like a approachable inclusive language. I think language is our most accessible tool for change, but equally accessible tool to cause harm. I think that the ways that we talk about ourselves and each other and the world around us and one another's vulnerability, I think approaching that with like a softness and a kindness, and just before you want to change it, I think like we all have to understand it. So I think that like when talking about advocating for change successfully, like I think that can look a lot of different ways. And like it's a question that I ask myself all the time and I'm not sure how to answer. Like, you know, how do you measure success in a broken world? How do you measure success in a broken system? How do you measure success when people still have broken hearts? Like, you know, am I succeeding? Are we succeeding? Are you succeeding? And it's like sometimes I think like through working in the community and like getting to know individuals beyond vulnerability as my neighbors, as my friends, sometimes it really does feel like I'm changing people's worlds and people are changing my worlds. And I feel really proud of all of us. And other times it feels like I'm draining the ocean with a tablespoon and I'll just never get there. And the waves just keep crashing in and I'm tired. But, you know, I think maybe I am like draining the ocean with a tablespoon. But every time I grab my tablespoon, I think that's success.
Right. I have a couple more questions on here for you. As I was saying earlier, you know, Veronica, she does a lot of charity work and a lot of volunteer work around the city as well. Speak a little bit about what Club Sandwich is and what does it mean to you?
So Club Sandwich, I don't believe in charity. I believe in solidarity. So yeah, definitely like from it, it would be described as like charity work, I guess, from the outside, but like from being a part of a community and like, you know, I've like I don't have a family in the traditional sense. Like I mentioned, like, you know, both my parents are incarcerated. We haven't talked for many years. Like, I guess I would describe my upbringing as volatile at best. But, you
Same
know,
here.
Club Sandwich to me, it looks like family. It looks like ways that I've been able to knit myself into the fabric of a community that has been there for me as much as I've been there for them. It's a reciprocal relationship. It's solidarity, not charity. It's like, it's all the ways that I've like pictured and wished for a family to work in my own life. And it's just this like really, it's safety and vulnerability and understanding like our uniquely vulnerable situations and respecting our like individual struggles, but also validating that like our emotions are the same. And it's really just, I don't know, like it's not like when you go to the doctor and say like, you know, I have this problem like with medicine that's worked for everyone, please give me that. Like when talking about people's vulnerability and like struggles and barriers in our society, I don't think that there's like a pill that works for everybody. There's
Right, right.
size fits all blanket solution. So it can look, Club Sandwich can look a lot of different ways depending on like what people need, like what I have to offer. And it's really just conversational and like getting to know your neighbors, you know?
Right now we have a lot of women in the chat, and some of the women in my community in my chat, they some of them, you know, suffering from mental illness. You know, we have a few on here that goes through a lot of things in life. Right now, I want you to talk to the women that's in the chat right now, because we have a lot of beautiful women in the chat right now. And mainly this, like I said, this interview, I wanted to give a message to all the women in the world that you women deserve more than what you get. And I want you to let the women.
Well, to convey that message, I guess, like, I wouldn't speak to the women of the world. I would speak to the men of the world. And I would, like, let you guys know that, you know, women are strong just for existing.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, you know, but yeah, the whole
you
thing.
know, if a woman right now is like out there listening to me and like doesn't feel heard and doesn't feel validated and doesn't feel like there's a worthwhile place in society, like, and in our systems for her, like, I feel you. I like hear you. I understand you. You know, I wish I could tell you that I'm like a strong girl and, you know, like fuck the system. And, you know, I feel it. I struggle it too. Like, you know, it's like my voice shakes every time I talk to. I know what it's like to stand in front of a crowd of people and know what I want to say, but not be sure how to say it, because I've been bred and conditioned to think that my voice is worthless and my voice is like only worth as beautiful as I am to the people that are listening. And, you know, pretty isn't the rent that I pay to exist in this world. And I've tried to condition myself like equally to keep speaking, even when my voice shakes and even when my palms sweat. And it's hard. And like, if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. Like, you know, there's no right way to be a strong woman. There's no right way to be a woman. And wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, like, I'm proud of you, and that's enough.
Awesome. I have a few more questions here. I did a little bit of research for you. You know, I know what I know who I'm talking to, so I had to do some, you know. But yeah, man, I think it's awesome, man. I have a couple questions here that my wife wrote down for you.
Okay.
And one is her name's Heaven. She's watching.
Hi,
babe. So yeah, she wants to know, what does a typical day look like for you?
Oh man, a typical day. God, that it's so funny, like the ways that my life has changed, like over the past, like, I don't know, I would say like 2 or 3 years. Like, now I can confidently answer, I guess, what a typical day looks like for me. But like a couple years ago, if like you would have asked me that, my life was like so all over the place. I'm in recovery too. So it's just funny, like being able to like answer that question was like an actual descriptive answer now. A typical day of my life doesn't look very exciting. I work full time, like my career is at a local food bank, a local they call it a charity organization, a local charity organization. I work there full time and I love it. It's taken me a really long time to like find my place in the working world and find a career that I feel like really like lets me use a little bit of my own voice, like not just sort of like camouflage myself into a like white man's working professional world. So I'm like really proud of the steps that I've made in that career. But I mean, I try to wake up at like 7 a.m. and I never can. My boyfriend has to like drag me out of bed, literally, like blasting music, waving coffee in my face. If I'm lucky, like
shout out to him. Shout out to him.
No, it doesn't need any more shout outs in life. If I don't know, if I'm lucky, I get up with like 10 minutes to spare before I have to run out the door. I don't know how to drive, so the way that I
don't know how to drive, Veronica?
I don't know how to drive. I ride my bike.
That's why I get it. Why I used to see you walking all the time.
I know, yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
I aim to ride my bike to work, but my boyfriend has been driving me every day because, like I said, I wake up at like 7:50 and I start around 8. So, you know, I go to work, I come home and fall asleep on the couch.
Someone has a question right here. Talking to Tommy D. Another good friend of mine. He wants to know. He said he needs to talk to this woman on how to get a job in charity organizations. And he's in I think he's in Bucks County, Veronica.
Mm-hmm.
He's been trying to you know, we've been doing this back to school drive we got going on with a few of the content creators that's watching, that's in the chat right now. It's a few of us. We're raising donation. That's why I got the Cash App down below. all charities and proceeds are going towards the back to school drive. And what's going on is we're buying supplies. You don't have to send any money. You can supplies will be more than welcome. But we're already at like I think $2,000 already.
Mm-hmm.
I think I told you about that already. Yeah, but he wants to know. He wants to get down with a charity organization.
Yeah, I mean, if you live in the Philadelphia area, like I said, I work full time at like a major food bank charity organization. If you send me a message on Instagram, my Instagram's Club Sandwich Philly. My full time job is actually we can talk about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got you. Don't worry. I got you. Got you, girl. Another question my lovely wife had. She said, uh, thank you, Linda, for the donation. Appreciate it. She wants to know what are your views on feminism?
I'm curious feminism. Feminism. You know, I don't know. That's a hard question to answer. I guess it really just depends. I mean, it can look a lot of different ways. I think that word, like that mission, that movement has changed a lot since its inception. I think that like for me personally, to answer that question, you know, like I can only speak for myself. Like I don't aim to be a voice for all women. You know, I think to get like a consensus, you know, you'd have to ask like women individually, but I don't know. I think, what do you think?
I don't know.
That's a hard question to answer.
Well, I mean,
that if you can find something in the movement that speaks to you, you know, take what you need out of like movements like that.
Gotcha. She wants to know what are you most passionate about and why?
Language. The language that
language.
Yeah, language. In the sense of like, you know, the words that we use to talk about ourselves and our neighbors and our society and our systems. I think language is our most accessible tool to change. I think that language can be like stigmatizing and it can be harmful and it can be painful and it can be hurtful, but it can also be like unifying and beautiful and something that brings us all together. So I'm really passionate about inclusive language, people first language, accessible language. You know, when talking about like someone in recovery or someone in active addiction or someone like suffering from substance misuse disorder, you know, I think it's important to like talking about myself, like people first, you know, my name's Veronica and I'm in recovery, not my name's Veronica and I'm a drug addict. You know, I think changing our words helps us to like change our own perception of ourselves, and it helps like the people around us to see us beyond vulnerability and as people.
I think that was the best way you can answer that question, right?
Thanks.
Yeah, hold on. She wants to know what are you feeling and what are you thinking when you out there protesting?
I'm protesting. Feeling scared. I'm feeling sad. More overwhelmingly than anything, I'm sad. I feels like a really overwhelming like rush of emotions and a privilege to like be in a group of our collective pain. Sometimes I feel like I'm screaming into a void and nobody's listening and I'm just like exhausting myself and I feel discouraged. But then I think like when I step out of my own feelings and I like listen to the people around me, like what they're saying and just looking at sheer numbers and the power of like being in a movement and the power of being in like a group of people, I feel proud and I feel safe. So
Yeah, because I watched every clip, every protesting you guys were doing. I was watching. You see, thumbs up.
Yeah.
I was watching, um, and yeah, I can, like I said, I congratulate you. You was out there in the middle of everything.
I think about it like it's scary and it's sad, but it's like it's such a small piece of my life to be uncomfortable, to try to like elevate the voices of people that are like living in discomfort and living in fear and living in pain and living in sadness with no reprieve, and people that like our society and our systems like want to feel invisible and want to feel quiet. And if I can like help use my voice to elevate their voices and just show up in solidarity, like it's worth it.
Like that's why I always say, like, I got a saying that I always say, like, when I hate to say to see people suffer, because I say, I have suffered all my life, so sometimes I be like, I wish I can take that person suffering, because I can probably deal with it a little bit better than what they're dealing with it, right? With how they're dealing with it right now. So I'll be feeling like a little guilty, like, "Damn, let me take
I
your
feel
stuff."
like that all the time. I
Right.
know exactly what you mean.
Let me take your suffering, because I know how to deal with it, and I'm used to that. I'm used to suffering. So let me take it from you, and you go ahead and be happy, because I know how to deal with it.
I've said that like same exact line like frequently. I mean, like I say that to like my boyfriend all the time, that like I've like known such pain my whole life. Like I'm comfortable in my ability to handle pain. I know I can do it. But like, he's really like helped me to like understand and start to believe that like just my I can't like my loving people can't be proved by like, you don't have to light yourself on fire to keep other people warm. It's not gonna, it doesn't work that way. And I wish it did, like you're talking about, but it doesn't. And you have to like keep yourself healthy and like, feel as loved as you can. And that's how like you're going to be strong to elevate people's voices.
Okay. Last one she had. She wants to know, in your opinion, right? In your opinion, which human right are being threatened the most?
Um,
In your opinion, which human right do you believe is threatened the most?
I think like our existence here in this world is like suffering from this push for like an erasure. I think that like, answering that question like as a woman, I watch the news and like I'm scared about like my own place in society and like my reproductive rights and like my right to vote. And, I like feel society in this country like slipping back into like what we talk about in history books as like a place we never want to be again. And I'm scared of like solidifying my own place here. And I feel like there's potential for like my voice in this world to like be erased. And I don't know, it's scary. So I think it's like all like all over the place right now. And human rights are, I don't even know what it means anymore.
Right. It doesn't mean shit.
Yeah.
Let's just let's just keep it all the way 100. It doesn't mean shit.
Yeah, I
You
think,
feel me?
I don't know, we're at a really sad place right now.
Right. It doesn't mean jack shit. You hear me? I understand you. So yeah, I don't know why we got them, because they don't mean anything. Like,
Yeah.
for real. Like,
Mm-hmm.
the system is so like, I grew up in the system. So the system is like, man, it's like,
I think capitalism, I think that like our worth in this world is dependent on, how much we're worth in a dollar value. And like we become worth more. The more money we have, the more money that we make. That's what capitalism has designed for us, and leads us to believe that like our worth in this world is based on our property value. It's based on our earned wages, and that's like, we live in a society, not an economy. And I think it's a big ask, and it's a really big like chore to fix something that like we didn't break and we didn't ask for. But I think as long as like we remember our power in a society collectively and reject the like idea that capitalism tries to push on us, that we live in an economy, and just remember that it's a society, I think we like stand a chance at restructure.
For the viewers and the people that's watching, what's I just had it. All right. What advice would you give someone watching this interview right now, or whatever advice that you have that you want to reach out and let your voice be heard? What advice would you give the youth that may be watching, or anybody that's watching that's not in the chat? Because it's a lot of people that watches that doesn't comment. What advice would you give to the viewers that's watching this right now?
I think like the first message that I wrote on a lunch bag for Club Sandwich was "You are loved," and I have it as a tattoo too. Where is it? Here somewhere. And I think that when I like wanted to put that message out into a broken world, "You are loved," I think that I was like saying it to myself as much as I was saying it to everybody else, and I'm still working on believing it, that I'm loved just as much as I like love the world around me. So, if you're watching this, like, you're loved like right where you are, and you're doing enough just by existing. The pressures like of a crumbling society will want to have you believe that like you need to do more, you need to do better, you need to be stronger, you need to be louder, and that's not true. Like, just surviving in a world that's designed for us to fail is enough, and that's a daily protest, and I'm proud of you.
Right. That's why on my channel I have a slogan. And it goes by what you say is important, but what I say is just as important. Something loose, you make it tight. Something wrong, we try to make it right. So yeah. I also want some of the viewers to know what are some great resources that has helped you in your recovery and in your journey.
In recovery, I think like my like connection to community is really like what keeps me like motivated to be sober. I think that my ability to like connect with people and to build like home and solidarity comes from like my communication and my drive and like being out there and meeting people. And I can only do that stuff when I'm sober, and I can only give like 100% of myself when I'm sober, and I'm like really only my true self when I'm sober. So I just try to remember that like the friendships that I've made and like the lives that I have changed, and like the people out there that have changed my life, those like true connections and safety and vulnerability, like I've only known them in sobriety.
Wow, you're awesome, Veronica.
So are you.
Yeah. If you had what are or who should I say, who are the three people who have influenced you the most? Three people. Or you can name how many you want, but
if I have to pick three, I mean, I don't know. My mom, I think that
and we'll throw the dogs in there as a bonus.
My dog. So I have 3 dogs, so right there off the bat. But I think about my mom every day. I like think about her in the work that I do in the community. I think about her at home when I'm just quiet and I don't want to think about her. I think about her like when I'm, standing in front of a crowd of people, like begging for better, begging for more, like trying to allocate resources to our broken society. I think about her all the time. I don't want to. I like don't really want to. It's losing someone to mental illness, like losing someone when they're still here. I can't describe it in a way that like would make it make sense or make it like the emotion accessible to someone who hasn't felt it. Grieving for someone who's lost while they're still here in body. It's just like something I've never thought I'd have to experience. And like we were talking about earlier, I've always sort of had this like unhealthy pride in my ability to take pain and just like knowing that I'm strong and knowing that like as much as the world's going to hurt me, like I can hurt myself more. Like you don't destroy me, I destroy me.
Right.
And that like thought process like doesn't apply when I'm like thinking about my mom, and I'm not like a tough girl that can change the world anymore. I feel like a vulnerable child. So a lot of like the work that I do and the ways that I live my life, like my relationship with her, lack thereof, has really, really shaped me in that way. My dad too. I never knew my real dad, like a lot of people in the world. He left when I was just a baby.
Same.
And then, my mom married a man when I was maybe like 6 or 7, who became like my dad, my father figure. And he was like extremely abusive, physically, emotionally, like has been an active addiction for as long as I can remember him being alive. And, I think about him all the time. The ways that I like learned to love in a broken world came from these broken relationships. And I just try really hard not to perpetuate the cycle. But my boyfriend, I guess, he does get me out of bed in the morning every day. So, he's great. It's taken me like a really long time. You've known me for a while. It's taken me a really long time to like find something that resembles safety, and like growing up the way that I did and like living life the way that I do. I'm not like an easy person all the time, and he's like really, really tolerant, and like, I don't know, I deserve it, and so do you guys.
Right. What are some of your biggest failures and what have you learned from it?
Um, I think that like we talked about earlier, it's really hard to like qualify success when you're like aiming to fix something that's like so broken and so much bigger than all of us. And I think that I used to feel like a failure all the time, like when I would go home and the world still felt so broken. But I think that like me trying to like take on the burden of a messed up world like independently it's weird. Like it's like that's like, my failure to trust in community. And something I like to remember, and like I try to like spread the message that like change is an ecosystem, and there's a part for all of us like working towards something bigger and keeping something bigger alive. And the ways that I've like pressured myself to like carry this entire ecosystem independently have been like harmful and counterproductive. And the more that I remember to like feel safety and community and trust the people around me, like, it's a mission, it's a movement. It takes everybody.
Okay. Real quick, what does the word freedom mean to you?
Um, I don't know. I think to me, I guess like individually, I think it just means like safety and existing in a galaxy of identities, that I can like be all sides of myself without having to compromise another side of myself, that like I can be like an exotic dancer and I can be smart. I can be like brave and I can be beautiful. I can like I can be everything at once. And freedom to me in my own life means like changing my mind every day and being respected all the same.
That's dope. That's dope.
Oh my god, my dog.
Were they fighting?
This little, I told you guys.
Oh,
Told you
wow.
she's bad.
Where's the other one at?
She ran away. The other, she's like, nobody wants anything to do with this dog right now.
She's like the queen of the house, huh?
Yeah, she really is. All 9 pounds of her. She needs to like check herself.
Yeah. You pretty much hit everything on the nose as I expected, you know. But you have any questions for me?
No, I'm so proud of you though. I'm like so happy to like be talking to you.
Thank you.
God bless your wife. Like she's got her work cut out for it. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I can't wait to see your baby, and like the world needs you, needs your voice. And
yeah, I'm trying, man. I'm trying, you know. Yeah, man. I mean, everyone knows my potential. They see it. Sometimes I see it. Sometimes, you know.
well, sometimes is enough.
Yeah.
It is.
You know, I know a little something. I know I have some type of potential. I just don't live up to my full potential as we should.
There is no full potential. We just talked about that. You know, you don't have to work harder. You don't have to be better. Like,
but at the same time, I'm also a work in progress, and I'm learning at the same time. You know, that's why I have friends like you, and I have also friends in the chat that at any given time, if I have any type of questions that I know I can reach out and call and like, you know, give me some type of advice, you know. And yeah, man, like I said, the world need more people and more voices like both of us, you know, not just me, but the world need more women like you. And, you know, also that we have that I haven't actually asked you about because we have a lot of dual diagnosis in the chat. That's, you know, could you share some light on what dual diagnosis or because me, I am a dual diagnosed because I suffer from ADHD. And people don't really, they say, people hears the word ADHD, they be like, oh no, you just, you know, ADHD is really, really bad. It's like, for people that doesn't know, you know, I deal with it on a constant. I'm dealing with, like, I'm holding this conversation as you see me. I'm going back to my notes and like, you know, because as we're talking, I'm thinking about. I'm just throwing a hypothetical. You know, I'm probably thinking about a dirt bike, riding a dirt bike. So, I don't know. So my thoughts are everywhere. I'm actually proud of myself that I had the chance to like hold this interview together with like. Because my community, you know, I'm all over the place, you know, and, you know, I think I did a pretty good job with like sticking to the script and like actually like getting the message out there and, you know, yay for me. Right.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, I want you to share a little bit on the dual diagnosis if you may.
Yeah. I mean, I think that like,
and how important it is to take your medication or whatever, you know?
Yeah. It's really, it took me a really long time to like believe that like I needed medication. I guess I thought it just like wasn't meant for people like me. I thought I was like a really tough girl that like, you know, I grew up in the system. I like grew up in a broken world and like I still made it. And I was like, who the fuck are you to tell me like I need anything else? Like I have everything I need all by my damn self. But I don't know, accepting like medication or like accepting help or, you know, seeking like mental health resources, it's not like a sign of weakness. Like I told myself it was for 30 something years. It was the strongest thing that I ever did.
Right. Because, you know, a lot of people, you know, in active addiction, they forget about that they're also a drug diagnosed patient.
Yeah, I mean,
They
people,
tend
you
to
know,
forget.
like people first language and like, you know, people first mission. There's like, we're more than an addiction, and like we're individual people with like individual health needs, and there's individual solutions for all of our individual problems, and that comes from like a unique treatment plan. So yeah, it's, you know, do what your doctor tells you, people.
Right. I have a hard time getting to the doctor because I just don't like dealing with them.
Same.
You know,
Yeah.
I just don't like dealing with them at all. Like for
No,
real.
I know.
Yeah. What I guess, you know, where can anyone that may be listening or watching find you online, social media? What's
Yeah.
let the people know where can they find you if they have any type of like they want to link up or anything. Let the people know, they want to know.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. It's Club Sandwich Philly. Yeah, you can find me on there. I love talking to everybody, to anybody. And so looking forward to talking to everybody.
Yeah. And if any of the moderators that's in the chat, if you guys can drop her social media in the chat, that's in the chat right now. Hey Murph, can you drop her social media in the chat, please, and thank you. Somebody will drop it. Honda Mommy, anyone in here? There's a few moderators in the chat. Somebody will drop it.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, he said he'll go get it. Be right back.
Okay.
So what's been new though, besides the whole congratulations on your recovery. I wanted to tell you that.
Thank you.
You know, we tend, like we all, you know how it is. We fall off, but it's always about the get back, you know.
Yeah, it's harder every time for sure.
It's definitely harder every time, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but you always been a good friend. You're an awesome person to talk to, you know.
Yeah, you too. I'm glad I got to talk to you.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I've been talking to, I don't know, you remember Wolf? You remember Wolf?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been talking to him. I'm trying to get him up here so he can share a little light, you know, because he's, you know, he was hands on down there, overdoses and you know. Talk about the overdoses. How many overdoses have you witnessed in Kensington, Philadelphia?
Hundreds.
Hundreds?
Yeah.
How many have you participated in bringing? How many have you brought back?
In like the entirety of my work in the community, so that's like more than 5 years.
Yeah, that's quite a lot, right?
Yeah, hundreds.
Wow. Congratulations.
Oh yeah, if anybody watching like needs Narcan or wants Narcan training, overdose reversal, you know, send me a message on Instagram and I can like mail you some Narcan or meet up with you if you're local, and we can go over how to use that.
You can mail Narcan?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I need some up here.
I can get you some Narcan for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can mail you a bunch of it so you can like give it out where you're at.
Yeah, that'd be dope. You know what? I don't really I'm like right outside of Chicago in a town called Plano. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Chicago, Illinois at all, but it's like, I'm like 45 minutes give or take from the city.
Yeah.
But I've been like doing a little network with, you know, I only been out here for like a year, so it's like I'm still networking with people. There's a few shelters that I want to try to like get in touch with, but they have a tent in Chicago. They have a city that's called Tent City, and they have like just like Kensington, but theirs is like underground or something like that.
Yeah,
but they definitely have like a major. I don't know how the fentanyl is out here. Like I said, I really don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, Narcan is always good to have.
Yeah, it's always good to have no matter what.
Right.
Yeah. I want me to go eat some ice cream.
Yeah. But I want to take the time to thank you, man. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
You know,
you too.
We'll get your ice cream. And anyone that wants to get a hold of Veronica, y'all can send me a DM or y'all can contact her directly. I think Tommy D is going to be reaching out to you. Murph DeCenzo, I think they want to reach out to you about the Kensington Drive as well.
Yeah, for sure.
But
have a good night, everybody.
Yeah, here it goes right here. Yeah, Tommy D and Murph, they both dropped your info right here.
Okay.
That's the info right there, y'all. So make sure y'all hit that link and go follow Veronica, Club Sandwich Philly, and make sure y'all show some support, family. That's what we here about.
Bye, guys. Thanks for hanging out.
Thanks for hanging out, Veronica. Appreciate you. Have a good one.
Talk to you soon.
Bye. Salute, family. Big shout out to Veronica, man. Great interview. I'd like to take the time to thank everybody that stopped by. Murph, Tommy D, Honda Mommy, Danny Divine, Jenna, Sean Mack, Jenna, who else? Zaid, Chicken Butt, Pamela, Homeless in America, Talking with Tommy D, Chicken Butt, once again, Shannon Bradley, thank you, brand new member, salute to you. Homeless in America again. If I miss you, Pamela J, Atlantica, Monica, salute. Salute to everybody that's in the chat, man. Let me get a thumbs up for this interview. Please sure y'all share. We have to get more awareness out there, and we have to each one teach one, y'all. We have to spread more awareness. So hopefully on the next one we could get somebody up here that could spread more awareness. But big shout out to Veronica, man. She's awesome. She's a very good friend of mine. She's a good person to know. Anyone that's in recovery that needs to talk to a woman, that all women on here that needs to talk to another strong woman in recovery or dealing with any type of mental illness, please reach out to Veronica. Again, her Instagram is Club Sandwich Philly on Instagram. Make sure y'all reach out. Make sure y'all go show her some support. Yeah, man. Like I said, appreciate everybody for stopping by. Y'all already know my slogan. You already know that what you say is important, and what I say is just as important. Something loose, make it tight. Something wrong, we try to make it right. Salute. Everybody have a blessed day. Shout out to everybody. Thank you for stopping by. We out of here, y'all. Thank you. We got another one, y'all.